Is it a mere reflection of our world or a force that shapes it? From the battle cries of the revolution to the brushstrokes that dare us to dream, artists have long been the architects of social change. But in today's digital age, where attention spans are fleeting and causes countless, can art still ignite the fires of transformation? Enter the Slants Foundation, a nonprofit organization that is daring to experiment at the intersection of creativity and activism. For years, the Slants Foundation has been quietly cultivating a new breed of artist warriors, arming them with the funding, mentorship, and a mission to drive social change through the universal language of art. I'm Sumi Krishnan, and this is Asian PaCIVICS, where music isn't just observed, but harnessed as a catalyst for change. Join us as we pull back the curtain and share the true stories of the rebels and visionaries who believe that art can break barriers and open up possibilities like nothing else. So excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we're going to dive into you as an artist, the song Walls that you wrote for this specific project, and your collaboration with the Asian Mental Health Project.
Yes.
All right, so tell us a little bit first, before we get into the work you guys did together and like your songwriting process. Who are you, Lowhi, as an artist? How did you get into music? So where did you grow up?
I was born up in the Bay, but when I was 6, my family moved to Beijing. So I actually spent most of my formative years out in Beijing. So a lot of what I grew up with was thinking about, I went to this Western, like an international school out in Beijing. So even while I was out there and grew up most of my life in Beijing, the Chinese people there, they could look at me and, I don't know, see my mannerisms or like the way I dressed and talk. Even though I speak fluent Mandarin, there's something about me that was still like, oh, he's not one of us. Yeah,
he's American.
Yeah, he's one of those ABCs we call, like American-born Chinese.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay. We have ABCDs, American-born confused Daisies.
Oh, just extend it.
Yeah.
So coming back to America, there was that sense of, oh, I'm finally gonna come home. And in America, I had this image of it's a perfect melting pot. Everyone gets along. It's amazing. It's this utopia.
You had this mental image.
Yeah, I had this mental image. And I mean, even in the years since, I've come to appreciate it in a different way. Mm-hmm. Instead of having this kind of utopian understanding of it, it's like, hey, yeah, there's conflict, but man, there's really good people here that care and want to support each other even when it's difficult. So I call it reverse culture clash. So instead of like, oh, me going to another country, it's like me thinking I'm coming home, but it still having to find my sense of belonging in a way that I didn't expect.
Did that experience influence where you are now and the work you decided to do in the world and sort of like the path you took?
Yeah, I'd say, especially the music I wrote during college, it was very much inspired by being part of the Asian American activist scene there.
Okay.
I'll never forget a mentor of mine, his name's Andy Sue, so shout out to that guy. I remember confiding in him and talking about how I didn't feel that I was worthy to be part of the Asian American movement. I felt like, I didn't grow up in America. Mm-hmm. So, am I really a part of this? Do I belong? Do I get to be here? Do I get to contribute? Do I get a seat at this table as well? And I remember him telling me like, hey, of course you belong here. You're here. We ride with you, and you ride with us clearly. So don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. There's love and belonging for you here. So I don't want to speak broadly for Asian America, but for myself, there was always that sense of, okay, if I'm not this and I'm not that, where do I belong then? What spaces and communities can I find that place of, hey, maybe you're not exactly like us, but let's learn from each other. We can be comfortable with each other too.
So it sounds like belonging and identity have been sort of big themes in your life.
Yeah, definitely. And even going down to a lot of, say, the sync work I've done and licensing with music, the stuff with Night Market, like Mandarin hip-hop work. Even though I grew up in China, for a long time I didn't use Mandarin in my music because I felt like I wasn't Chinese enough. I felt like my Mandarin wasn't good enough. So part of reintroducing that back into my music, it's an act of reclamation too. Oh, I am Chinese enough. I do deserve to use my homeland's language in the way that I create. So maybe on the outside, it's like, yeah, you're Chinese. Of course, you're going to use Chinese in your music. That's no problem. But for me, it was a longer, roundabout internal process.
That makes total sense. How did you get into music? When did you start playing music? When did you know that that was going to become a central part of your life?
It's a very clear image in my mind because, I raised a Chinese kid, played violin, played piano, but that wasn't really passion for music. It was just showing up to the lessons and doing the thing. But when it really became a passion it was a middle school class called Middle School Rock Band. And shout out
that was in Beijing?
In Beijing.
Okay.
Yeah, it was run by this older Australian gentleman. And 20, you gotta imagine this, 20 kids in a room, 4 full drum sets, 7 electric guitars, all plugged in to amps. It was absolute chaos. We sounded terrible. But he was like,
all playing at the same time?
All playing at the same time, of course. Yeah, he was like,
just go have fun.
Yeah, he was like, what do you play? I was like, I play piano. When I think of rock bands, I don't think of a piano player though. And he's like, oh, I got you. Put you on the keys. Set you some different sounds. And it was my first time him being like, oh, just learn these chords, improvise.
Right.
I was like, what are you talking about? Playing classical music my whole life, being like every note, you're supposed to get quieter here, louder here. There was none of that. He was like, okay, just feel it out. Likely we're not going to be able to hear you much with our 7 electric guitars and 4 drum kits going, so just have fun. And that was my first experience being like, oh, I have input into this music and what can be expressed.
I love that.
Instead of, oh, it's just dictated completely by what's given to me. There was a spark of freedom and creativity that Mr. McCormick was able to spark there. And another point of inspiration was my friend Ben Chang in 8th grade. This sounds so silly to say now, but back then it felt like, oh, singing's for girls. So yeah. guys don't do that. So I'm not going to sing. I'm just going to play piano and do my thing. In comes this new kid from another school, just belting Elton John in the hallways. Great singer. Still to this day, I'm like, he was a great singer. So he inspired me to join the boys choir.
So he's belting Elton John and you're like, I could do that.
I was like, it gave me a sense of permission. Mm-hmm. Like, we could talk about representation. That was my representation in a way. So joined the 8th grade boys choir with him. We actually started a band together, played songs at the middle school dance and stuff like that. So from there, he really inspired me to like, oh, I can not only sing, but I can write my lyrics as well as I play piano. And yeah, just fumbling through the creative process.
If you'd like to learn more about Asian Pacifics, including how to get involved or support the work of the Slants Foundation, please visit theslants.org. Okay, so then just give us a little picture of what do you do today in music?
I write my own stuff, but a lot of it sometimes is for sync, especially after the wave of Crazy Rich Asians and people being like, oh, this is representation is the thing. Kind of a drive for like cultural authenticity. Like in the way people talk in the movies, the music that's used, this drive like, hey, if we're gonna represent Asian American culture, we want to have Asian American music as well.
Okay.
That's bilingual, that's original. So shout out to Chops out in Philly. He was the first one to be like, hey, I need someone that can sing in Mandarin and translate something from English to Mandarin for sync work. So that's a lot of the work that's been done over the years.
Now, you also, through this work with Asian Pacifics, as well as in general, you have a passion for Asian mental health. Mm-hmm. And for this project, you teamed up with Asian Mental Health Project and sort of wrote, your music was used to further their mission in some way. And I want to kind of dive deep into that and like what that looks like. Like, how does your music support their mission? How does your collaboration look? And how did you get into that in the first place?
Their founder, Carrie Jang, is a good college friend of mine.
Okay.
So we were friends even before she founded that organization. So it was kind of this thing where she was doing her work on her side, I was doing my work on my side. And 2 years ago, kind of combined forces. I saw that they had these different support groups for Asian people, but I noticed that, hey, you don't have a men's group. I've actually been doing that for a few years. Can I just start?
A men's group, meaning?
A men's support group.
Okay.
Yeah, a place for men to come together, talk about their mental health, and there's just their experiences. So she was really supportive from the jump, being like, hey, what do you need? You have my full support. And fortunately, yeah, 2 years later, we've met every 2 weeks, and it's kind of crazy to think about.
So you're leading these groups?
I'm facilitating the groups. Yeah, especially at the start, a bunch of men show up on a Zoom call. There's that what's okay to talk about, what's not okay to talk about. So at the start, I had to really set the context of the group. So sharing a lot of stories of my own, being able to be open with them about, my fears, the things I went through, even like the mistakes I made that I wish I could take back, that these things that perhaps...
Personal stuff.
Very personal things that perhaps, your average group of men just hanging out, those things aren't going to come up as naturally. But now, 2 years in, as we've talked about it more, the context is set. So sometimes when I go into the group, guys already in the group are already welcoming to the new guys that are coming in. There's this snowball effect. So I appreciate seeing that happen, and it makes my job easier too.
So let me ask you the question then for someone listening. Well, what the heck does music have to do with any of this? How does music get involved?
For myself, but say for a lot of men out there as well, even when we don't have these skills of emotional communication, that music kind of bridges that gap, even before we're consciously aware of it. So sometimes in the men's group, I'll ask the guys just to bring in songs and asking them, hey, what does this mean to you? Oh. How did this help you in a certain time in your life? And that's when you see the connections. Oh, you listen to Linkin Park too? During your, I don't know, emo like middle school days. That got you through a breakup as well. Like, oh, that helped, that supported you through a divorce when nothing was making sense. Like music kind of helped be that soft landing pad. It helps create commonality. When sometimes even we don't have the language to, the music can bring us closer in an easier way.
How have you contributed your art to the mission?
Yeah, I mean, this song that I wrote for the Asian PaCIVICS program, it's specifically about, say, male anger and mental health in that regard, where before I learned how to really process my emotions, it would come out in these certain ways where it's like, oh, I punch a wall. So there's a lyric in the song that's like, punching walls just to feel something. So learning now that, oh, emotions need an outlet somewhere at some point.
So what did your partnership with Asian Mental Health Project look like? Specifically,
the partnership for this program, I'm going to be bringing this song, Walls, into the group, having them listen to it, show them the lyrics, talk about my own experience with that suppression of anger, and now learning better outlets and ways to connect in order to disperse that, and having that be the conversation starter with them. So, hey guys, I might go out on a limb. If you guys relate to this at all, let's talk about it. I'll completely lay my heart out on the table. I hope it resonates. I hope it can be a connecting point for someone as well, to not feel so alone. Because when I felt so alone, that's when it got bottled up. Because there's that feeling of, if someone sees this part of me, there's no way they could love me anymore. So the hope is that in this collaboration is to bring this conversation starter, this art as the conversation starter, but ultimately to support these men in particular, to feel that feeling of, hey, you can actually express this and open up about this. And not only will you not be shunned or hated or judged, it actually creates more connection. But like, hey, wow, I can't believe you shared that. I've felt that for years and never had the courage to talk about it.
Wow, that's beautiful. Has it been like an easy process for you to share so vulnerably in your music and in the men's group, or did it take a little bit of warming up to, or do you get nervous every time?
I get nervous every time. Yeah, I can always feel it right here when I'm about to say something where I feel that fear. But that's the thing about the group, that over time we've developed this culture in the group where the evidence is stacked the other way over time. Where I know like, oh wow, in this group, 10 times out of 10, pretty much, like, guys will be supportive.
Yeah.
Even those moments where it's like, oh, you can feel the tension in the room. It's like, okay, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it alone. So, but yes, to answer your question, it still is difficult because life's challenges, they keep coming in different ways, and it's not so predictable. But that's the beauty of the group too. I'd say it never gets boring because everyone in the group, say sometimes there's like 20 guys in the group at a time, and 2 weeks is a long time. A lot of life can happen in 2 weeks. Really incredible things, and these things that knock us off our feet. So having this regular space come rain or shine, to release, to share, to be with community. It's helpful.
What does your writing process look like in general? Like, is it generally an expression of your emotions if it's outside of the sync brief?
Yeah, I'd say especially in college, a lot of what I wrote about was Asian American identity.
Okay.
What does it mean for both the community and for myself to feel not part of this, not part of that, not Chinese, not American? What are the questions I'm asking myself? What are the fears? I don't know, say a fear is like, what if I never belong?
Yeah.
What if for the rest of my life I'll never find a space or a group of people, or say, I don't know, a church community or something where I can breathe easy. So I'd say at the crux of it, there's usually a sense about belonging.
Okay.
Like, do I belong? How do I create belonging for myself? How do I create belonging for other people? What are my internal emotional, perhaps obstacles to belonging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how specific are your lyrics? Do they actually share things that you're afraid to say in person, or are they more general where you're kind of like, they could be interpreted 1,000 different ways?
I sometimes cringe looking back at my older songwriting because it is so hyper
Hyper-specific?
Oh,
wow.
So I've learned to balance over the years of like, let me write lyrics where I don't feel the need to explain myself.
Okay.
Like, this is what this story came from, and just be like, hey, that's what came out of my songwriting. If it resonates with you a certain way, and it's different from how I originally intended, that's okay too. Like on one of my recent projects, I wrote kind of about like anti-Asian violence, and just the fear as an immigrant kid of, I hope my parents get home safe.
Yeah.
But for a show I played, I chose that one time not to explain the full story, and I had a friend come to me, and he was like, I don't know why, but that made me think of my brother, who I haven't really been connected with, and I'm gonna reach out to him. I was like, wow, that's pretty different or separate from my original story, but there's a resonance there that was something specific for him. So I learned over time, like, who am I as the artist to kind of stranglehold people's interpretations of that? So basically I learned to be more open, and yeah, I used to write incredibly specific lyrics.
Yeah. So we're about to hear the full version of the song that you wrote, Walls, for your collaboration with the Asian Mental Health Project. But before we do, I kind of want to hear from you. What are some of the things we should be listening out for? So whether it's, you mentioned the one lyric about punching a wall, what else should we be listening to kind of understand the message of your song?
I mean, that lyric is the crux of it all.
Okay.
There's a lot of metaphors in there. There's the flowery language, but really, that's the core. Punching walls just to feel something. I think back to just the years in my life before I was much more emotionally in touch with myself, where there were years in a row that I just wouldn't cry because I'd just numbed myself so deeply. So that was an alternate way to feel something.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't able to access it. Now I'm able to access it in different ways. But even looking back to that version of myself now and having empathy for him, I'm like, wow, that was, in your mind, the only way out.
Is this song about the previous version of you?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from real experiences where I felt that emotional overwhelm, and I would punch a wall and, regret it with my bloodied knuckles, and just that feeling of feeling like I'm a monster. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm a monster, but also the sense of like I could never belong in the way I am, leading to further isolation and self beat up, whatever it was. So in that way, it is that retrospective on an older version of myself as well.
Wow. And how did you go about writing this in terms of like soundscape, and what does it sound like?
Yeah, so something we use in the later half of the song, it's like this vocoder effect. And the funny story about that is that it wasn't this process where we went in and really meticulously did everything. It was my producer, Justin. He basically just threw this vocoder effect. I hopped in the booth. I sang this thing.
You sang this verse.
Yeah, I sang that verse. It was completely improv. It was taking some of the lyrics from the earlier verses.
Okay.
And it was just the first take. And something about the DAW, it actually shifted it, I think, a beat forward, or like half a beat forward. And
shifted your vocals.
Yeah, and my
Okay.
producer was freaking out because usually if that happens, it sounds terrible. And you're like, okay, we need to fix that immediately. But something about it, it still worked. So, but it wasn't something that was repeatable. So we were both freaking out, like, okay, just freeze it, save that. That's the end of the song.
Oh, so interesting. So you
Yeah.
loved this happy accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was definitely a happy accident. But even looking back, like the vocoder effect, it
Yeah.
kind of distorts the voice, and
Yeah.
it makes me think about like, oh, there's these things I wanted to say and express to people, but I wasn't able to. So it was like that distortion of, perhaps you could say, what I really wanted to say in my heart. I want to, but this distorted version is all I can muster. Yeah.
Okay, can't wait to take a listen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lowhi, for being here
Thank
with
you.
us today, and the work that you're doing with the Asian Mental Health Project, and for being part of the Asian PaCIVICS program.
Thank you so much.
And with that, we're now going to get a chance to listen to the full song by artist Lowhi called Walls.
Punching walls just to feel anything. The color of my shame, I used to paint my name. Bleeding streaks across the canvas like racing raindrops. A tsunami I couldn't stop, a monster I couldn't tame, words I couldn't say. Trapped and cornered by my pride and anger. Am I those, or am I the songs I sang her? I feel it all unraveling. I'm hanging by a string, punching walls just to feel anything. What's the color of my healing after all the untangling? From tree trunks to strings, from sacred cup to words that I just sing. Just to feel anything. I feel it all around. Anything. just to feel anything, yeah. I'm not trying to
At the Slants Foundation, we believe in the transformative power of art. Our mission is to empower Asian American creators across the nation, providing them with the resources they need to make a difference. Through programs like Asian PaCIVICS, we provide financial support, mentorship, and coaching to artists working on cause-driven campaigns. We've worked with hundreds of artists across the country to create music, film, theater, and art that helps civic engagement and connection. We help artists turn their passion for creativity into a force for social change. And since the Slants Foundation is completely volunteer-driven, 100% of donations go directly into supporting arts and activism. Join us in our mission. Visit theslants.org to learn more.